Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your new moon lunar cycle insight video for the cycle beginning with the new moon falling in Sagittarius on the 7th of December and culminating with the new moon solar eclipse in Capricorn on the 6th of January. So we begin this month with both Mercury and Venus retracing their steps in your 10th house of career, of purpose and reputation, where both of them began their respective retrograde journeys in October. So now is the time that we can begin to see some rewards, we can begin to see some culmination to the lessons and cycles that have been going on during this period. So hopefully during the Venus retrograde period, you found yourself realigning your career, realigning your work in the world with what is truly deep and meaningful to your heart, to your being. Perhaps there's been some changes and shifts within your work life if you felt like you were investing your time and energy in things that didn't have meaning to you. Hopefully you've made the changes, and now you can begin to see some of the results of that hard work. So this can be a time when new opportunities, new abundance, new direction, new openings can start to happen in your career. Perhaps you will have to, dig deep and move through a few more layers, a few more issues around being seen and being who you really are in the world as this month begins, because Mercury is going to be reactivating his trine with Chiron in your second house and the North Node in Cancer, newly installed as of last month in your sixth house. So this is a time when we're going to want to feel a deep emotional connection with our work, and anything that is superficial or on the surface or doesn't ignite our soul will come up for resetting, will come up for recalibration if we haven't already made those changes. This energy is really supported by the new moon coming into your 11th house, where Jupiter shifted into last month as well. So this is a beautiful energy. We discussed Jupiter being in the 11th house last month for the first time in 12 years. And, this is a really flowing, fortuitous energy, because the 11th house is very much connected with our highest visions, our hopes, our dreams, in a similar way to Sagittarius. So this new moon is really making us, and with Mercury being retrograde here the past few weeks, really getting us thinking about what is my most expanded vision, what is my purpose. And this new moon cycle in Sagittarius gives you the potential to really see those desires, to take some action steps towards what it is you wish to bring forward under this most fortuitous transit for the next 12 months. Jupiter's going to be here till December 2019. So this new moon says, okay, how are we going to set the tone for this cycle? What has deep meaning to you, Aquarius? What is your truth? How does your individual purpose intertwine with the evolution of humanity at this time? And how can you take action steps to bring that purpose into being for the good of all? So it's a very exciting time. But like I've been saying in all of the videos, we need to ensure that the ideas and inspirations that come through are getting grounded so they can come into being, because the Neptune energy this month can make us all a little bit delusional in a way. We can find ourselves spinning off into a bit of a fantasy land, all of these ideas, all of these downloads, all of this excitement. But we need to make sure that we're also doing our Saturn and bringing things into reality, bringing things into being. Start planning, taking day-to-day steps. A small step towards your goal every day will be most beneficial for you during this transit, Aquarius. So this energy of the 11th house is very, very prominent in the early weeks of December. On the 21st, the sun moves into Capricorn, initiating the winter solstice. So for you, Aquarius, this is the month before your birthday. And the month on the sign preceding our own sign is always our 12th house, which is the house of cleansing, of letting go. And you already have in this house at this time Saturn, Pluto, and as of last month, the south node of release. So there's a huge emphasis on this space of your birth chart at the moment, Aquarius. And as the sun comes in here, he's going to connect with all of these energies one by one during his journey through Capricorn, illuminating what needs to be let go of before you begin your new solar cycle in 2019, when the sun comes into your sign next January. So this can be a time as we head towards Christmas that we feel the need to to go within. In fact, it's very fortuitous for you because naturally at the end of the year we all reflect back on the previous 12-month cycle. We all reflect back on what happened or didn't happen. You know, we think about where we were 12 months previously and what we wanted to bring into being in 2018, and we see how far we've come, or maybe how far we haven't come because of all of the retrogrades this year. It doesn't seem like anyone's made much forward progress. It's been much more about internal work. So it might be good for you to reflect on how you have changed internally and all of the things that you have let go of as the sun moves through Capricorn, highlighting Saturn and Pluto. So deep karmic cleansing. You may feel the need to meditate, to rest. It's a good time for spiritual work, for spiritual healing, and a good time for detoxification, as the full moon rises in Cancer the day after the solstice on the 22nd of December in your 6th house. So this is that house where the North Node is, where your current point of soul evolution is, Aquarius. And we've talked about this house in the previous video, working with Jupiter in Sagittarius in that 11th house, saying, as I mentioned previously in this video, how can I tend to the details of my life so my big dreams manifest? How can I take the small steps that lead me to the top of the mountain? What can be done here and now in a practical level? And the full moon's going to illuminate these energies, but it's also going to illuminate anything that needs to be let go of before this can happen. So the 6th and 12th house polarity deals with cleansing on all levels of being. Like I said, spiritual cleansing up in the 12th house, physical cleansing, detoxification, reorganizing, restructuring in the 6th house. So we can be very aware of any addictive or codependent patterns that are blocking us from really stepping into our dreams and visions, with these top corners, the 10th and 11th house of our chart being activated as well at this time. So it all works together in a web of energy that tells us that we have to become the vessel. We have to purify our lives, our surroundings, our bodies, in order to allow our dreams, the inspirations of spirit, of Jupiter in Sagittarius, to manifest through us. So this is a time when, of course, we're all drawn to excess anyway, because it's the Yule season, but also the ongoing Neptunian Sagittarian vibes that are dominant for a lot of this month can really call us into these old patterns, really call us into numbing ourselves, numbing our feelings, avoiding reality through indulging in toxic behaviors and patterns. So that's also something to be aware of during this season, Aquarius. Okay, so we're going to begin January with Mars moving into his home sign, his sign of rulership, into Aries. He's going to be trining Jupiter throughout January in your 11th house. So as we head into 2019, Mars comes into this third house, activates Jupiter in the 11th, and we can see that there can be some amazing connections, some amazing opportunities for putting yourself out there and networking that are coming for you as we head into the new year. So just be aware that you're preparing yourself for your next level of evolution, Aquarius. Give yourself the time that you need to recalibrate yourself, to shed the remnants of the old year, the old self, because, you know, perhaps you've completely changed. You know, perhaps you don't even recognize who you were before this year, because there's been such an activation of the fixed signs, not only Mars retrograde and the eclipses, Venus, Uranus, all working with the fixed signs, of which you of course are the air fixed sign. So a lot of you will have gone through a total metamorphosis. So this is a period of reflection, of stillness on what has been and what can become. So I'm going to pick a card for you to finish this reading. And this month I'm working with some tarot. I'm working with the Glastonbury Tarot by Lisa Tenzin-Dolma. And I've chosen to work with tarot because as I'm doing these readings, we're in the kind of sign of oracling. We're in Scorpio. Mercury's doing his water trine at the final degrees, and Venus has just headed back in. So it feels appropriate. So I'm going to pick a card for you to close this December reading. Oh, and this is really nice. The Fool. 0, the first card of the major arcana. And this is Percival, who you might recognise from Grail Legend. The light's reflecting on this. I'm not sure how clearly you can see it. There we go. You can see him. He's looking ahead. He's looking out into the distance towards the kingdom, this kind of golden castle up on the hill. So he's looking forward to what he will achieve, although he is just taking the first steps on his journey. And the Fool is a card of new beginnings. It's having that naivety, that trust, that purity of intention to set foot on a new pathway. So he's excited about what's coming for him. He's let go the bitterness and the cynicism of the past, and he's ready to embark on his new journey. He's ready to take the first steps. So this card can indicate you clearing the past, clearing the fragments of the old year, and then as we head into December, stepping towards those goals, stepping towards those visions, stepping towards those ambitions, which are being ignited in the 10th and 11th houses at the moment, Aquarius. And also, if we look at the shadow side of the Fool card, we hear the expression, look before you leap, which is also a reflection of the Neptune Pisces energies of this month, which can, cloud our judgment and cloud our vision. So again, discernment, integration, boundaries, being sure that what we're seeing has the ability to actually be anchored and manifest in our reality. So just being aware of that and being willing to put the effort in as well will be a key lesson of this cycle for you. Thank you so much for listening to me, Aquarius. It's suddenly gone very dark as I'm talking to you, so I apologise if you can't really see me. But thank you for listening, and I'm wishing you a very, very blissful, blessed and relaxing Yule period.